Hello and welcome to Weekdays with TCF, presented by The Loop Sports. Today is April.
No, it's definitely not March.
It's April 10th.
What an idiot.
April 10th. It's April 10th. I am Zach Lilia. You can follow me on Twitter at ZLiliaTCF. You can follow Typical Chicago Fans on Twitter at typical_Chicago. You can follow The Loop Sports on Twitter at The Loop_Sports. Instagram, Facebook, The Loop Sports. Typical Chicago Fans, what you're watching us on right now.
You follow me at TCF Gameboy. I am Gameboy.
Boomy down here. You can follow me at Boomy TCF. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. Head on over to YouTube. Click the red subscribe button after you've typed in Typical Chicago Fans. If you're an Apple user, you can find us on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review there. And if you are on Spotify, you can follow us. Send us a screenshot that you do any of those, and we'll be selecting our free T-shirt winner here pretty soon. So hopefully by maybe the end of this weekend, Zach, maybe we'll get around to that. So make sure you get your screenshots.
I've been vetoed on a lot of things, so I'm not even going to talk about it right now.
All right. So we'll but send us that screenshot and we'll enter you. And we have a special guest for the second week in a row. We have we can call him our local golf expert now.
I wouldn't go that far.
But we have Troy Bauer. Troy, where can people find you on Twitter?
My Twitter handle is TBGolfin, so GOLFN.
GOLFN. So, yeah, Troy's probably – and no, I'm going to say this because neither of them are here to defend themselves. Troy, you're the best golfer I know. So you're better than Pat.
I appreciate that, buddy.
You're better than Pat. Yep, I said it. I hope Pat's watching.
Did beat him in the club championship a couple years ago.
Your hole-in-one was against him. So.
Yeah.
But we brought Troy in. He's going to chime in every now and then, but we're going to really hammer Troy here in the Masters preview, which we've got coming up here pretty soon.
I would love to have a video of Pigoy watching this. This would be awesome.
Be like, what the hell?
His head might be exploding as he watches.
I guarantee we're going to get some messages be like, excuse me, my handicap is a blah, 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 and Troy's is a blah, blah, blah.
Nah, we've had our fair share of battles over the years, so we're pretty close.
But were we not just talking about how you beat, or you're like the two-time defending,
three-time defending Mason, John, and Pigoy.
Okay. So little shots fired. I like it a lot.
Pick up your Game Boys.
Also, thank you to our sponsor, SeatGeek. If you type in the promo code TheLoopSports in all caps, you get $20 off of your first purchase of over $30. Also, shout out to Monkey Knife Fight, which you can, if you type in the promo code Loop, they match your deposit up to $100. I saw one tonight. They do a lot of baseball. Baseball is involved with Monkey Knife Fight. They do like over-under Ks for pitchers, or they do like a cool one. It's over-unders hit plus, runs runs
hits
plus RBIs,
strikeouts and stuff like
that. So it's cool. Yeah, it's a Loop. Loop. I think it's all caps.
LOP and big, bold, giant
and
underline.
They match your deposit up to $100.
Yep.
So $100 in, you get $100 free play. And shout out to 26shirts.com Chicago. But let's get right into it. We had the March Madness come to an end last
College basketball's
Monday night.
gone.
What?
College basketball's gone.
Done for the year.
Hurts my heart a little bit.
Yes, and
You'd be affected the most.
I'm sad.
I got thrown into the baseball, trying to bet baseball now, and that's all I've got.
Yeah, same.
So that's kind of sad.
Same.
With that, I tried maybe some NHL playoffs. I think it's going to be fun to try that, but I will lose all my money.
Yeah,
but,
that's to say, like, I think that's really all I've gambled on all week is baseball. And luckily, I've done pretty well. I've hit like 3 or 4 games. But, yeah, it's a very boring time of this year right now after we just come off that high from the March Madness.
I mean, to talk about the March Madness, though, putting my 2 cents in, it was pretty chalked going through. I mean, there are a lot of the big favorites got to, like say, the Elite Eight, Final Four, but that made up for some really, really great matchups. I mean, they were great games in the Elite Eight, Final Four championship game. I thought they were great.
I don't think we had – were there any blowouts in the Elite Eight and beyond?
I don't think there was.
Actually, I heard a stat for the Elite Eight, the combined wins for the total points combined was like 17 points. That's the lowest ever in Elite Eight games.
That is wild. And we had I picked it, Virginia winning it all.
Good for you. But in Texas Tech beat Michigan State by 10.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
The Final
I did not
Four.
See that coming.
Right.
No, that one I did not.
Two good defenses going at it, but Texas Tech pretty much dominated the whole game. It was, like I said, it was a great Final Four. Virginia,
very controversial Final
Virginia
Four
beating Auburn on a foul at the buzzer.
And missed a double
dribble, but it was also one of, they said, a double dribble where in the moment no one really said anything about it being a double dribble. No one really went crazy about it. He kind of played it off in the perfect way.
That's exactly what it was.
Yes, it was a missed call, but it's one of those calls that I don't think really was going to hit. I mean, it would have hindered the game, but he played it off perfectly. I got to give him that. It was rewarded for that. But the foul at the end, which was a foul.
Yes, it was.
We can all agree on that. But a tough call to make there, deciding the game on it. But also, that who was it for Virginia went up and made all three
Kyle Guy
went up, shot all free throws.
That's impressive.
His picture on Twitter has been when they lost to, was it UMB?
Yeah, UMBC.
UMBC last year.
First number 1 seed to ever lose.
First off, will that be a 30 for 30?
That's got to be. Yeah. How is it not?
30.
Like, that's – I mean, they go from, like, the most embarrassing defeat in college basketball history to winning a national championship almost exactly a year later.
I got to agree with what Boomy said, though, in the podcast, not on Facebook Live, but he said, refs got to ref all the way. If you ref in the first minute, you're going to call that foul, you should call that foul in the last minute.
Yes.
And I 100% agreed with that when I listened to that.
You can't – and, like, he can't come in. Like, it's a game-winning shot. You can't come in guns a-blazing to knock a guy over like that. Yeah, exactly. And like, I think the argument that, like, a lot of people say, like Zach, you said about the foul and the missed double dribble, but every single coach in America will tell you that play didn't win or lose them the game. No. There were so many opportunities Auburn had at previous points where they could have, secured a victory or expanded the lead, so it doesn't come down to those last couple shots. And like Bruce Pearl even said, I think it was on Monday morning, like, you just got to get over it. Like, yeah, it was a missed call, but that's not the reason they lost. They didn't take care of some things. Virginia played well. And sometimes when you get that deep into games, and especially when you have two top-tier programs, those things are going to happen, and you can't leave it up to chance, and you've got to take care of that a little bit earlier. But like you said, I mean, the Final Four games were amazing. The championship game was incredible. We were lucky to catch the end. I don't know about you. I watched like the second half and overtime.
Yeah, we got stuck on a train for an hour on a way.
You stayed awake?
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, it was a late one, but I want to get your thoughts from an Illinois fan over here. Did you just love seeing Bruce Pearl lose? Was that just beautiful for you, the way he lost?
Actually, I like the fact that it was Bruce Pearl who lost, but I actually found myself kind of rooting for Auburn a little bit.
Really?
Just not so much him, obviously, because I don't like Bruce Pearl. I hate Bruce Pearl, but the team was so much fun to watch.
Yeah,
they played
really
up and down. They were
had
fast.
A little something to play for, too,
right.
with Okiki going down.
You don't like the coach.
I just hated the coach, which is Bruce Pearl's a jackass.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
He's been through. I think he's been through 2 programs now where he's gotten himself in trouble.
I think this is second or third.
We'll see what happens here. But then Virginia goes on to beat Texas Tech in the championship game. Game that was decided by a 3-pointer where Texas Tech kind of just. I mean, it's a tough play in the moment, but they should have not guarded the guy who was going for the 2 and gone out to the guy who was shooting the 3 to tie it. But Texas Tech gets forced to overtime. I thought they had the game there. I actually had the over, which if Nick Gons is watching, you're an idiot. He kept telling me
he wasn't even telling me the story.
On the way home, he kept just telling me, oh, it's going under. There's no way it's going under. And I will give it to him. Stats were on his side. I think it was like one time.
Yeah, the start of that game was not looking good.
And like that, but and then the start was bad. I looked with like 17 minutes left in the first half. It was like 2-0.
Did you bet the over?
I bet the over.
I did not. I was trying to gas up.
You talked. Well, you talked about it in the podcast. You were going to.
Well,
you said your gut response.
We'll get to this in a minute, but we had a long Monday, and I kind of didn't realize what time the game started. Our train was a little screwy, so I didn't get anything. I was going to jump in for Virginia Moneyline live, but I just eventually decided to give up and just enjoy the game.
Shots at someone who's not there.
You're in the comments section. Defend yourself.
Yeah, you're defending yourself. You literally said that you would have done the same thing to me if it would have gone under.
Yes.
So I was on your side too. I said the under was the best.
And then he comes at me and says it was overtime. It hit in regulation.
Yeah,
so that's not the deal. But it was a fun championship game. You always want the last game not to be a blowout. And that was a great. What did he say?
One of an all-time. We have to just wait, but we'll get back to college basketball. Zach had an all-timer quote.
That's true.
On the train Monday morning.
Comment, I will stand
His
by
exact quote was, I love trains, guys. You get to see the world.
You get to see the world.
As if you don't get to see the world in a car or an airplane
Different views.
or walking. He says you get to see the world in a train.
I'll stand by it. I like it. It was a good. I thought it was a good comment.
I laughed for a solid 7 minutes. So.
Yeah.
It was
Yes,
good.
but Virginia gets the win. Your guy Tony Bennett.
That's my. I
gets
mean,
the
we had
W.
dinner and talked football.
Best friends.
so-
Best
my
friends.
goodness.
Do you
I'm
think?
probably getting a championship ring, don't you think?
Oh, you're gonna get something like a T-shirt,
At
maybe
least.
Do you have his
a
phone
letter.
number
Thanks
even?
to my best
I
buddy.
could.
They'll
I have
fly
a
you-
sister's phone.
They'll
number.
fly you out to Virginia for the ring
I don't even
ceremony.
need a fly. I'll drive out. I mean, whatever. It's
They'll
not
probably
that
help
far.
raise the banner.
Probably.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Yeah,
Boomy's gonna be there to raise the band.
How about
would be
that?
something, Actually,
8:20 start time though.
Why?
Terrible.
Why?
Here, I got a story
Why?
for the
And that's
8:20 start
8:20
time.
for us. That's not even
Central-
thinking
Right.
9:20 if you live on the East Coast, where one of these two teams is from. Like Virginia is in the Eastern time zone. That's a
And
9:20
well, it was
start
played up
time.
in
That's so
Minnesota.
stupid.
Played up in Minnesota,
Yeah, so
which
it's-
is Central Time.
Yeah, so it's
8:20.
8:20 there.
I actually fell asleep towards the end of the game. Woke up with about 4 minutes ago. I'm like, great, I get to see the end of the game. I didn't miss it. And all of a sudden, the announcers start talking about overtime, and I'm like, shoot, I got to rewind. I missed the end of the game. We're in overtime.
Yeah, it'll sneak up, especially like the older we get, those late start time. Like 5 years ago, I'm like, whatever.
How
Like
old are we? How old are you?
I'm getting there, man. I got some miles on these tires. All right.
yeah.
So I still whip all of you,
Well,
but
sadly, yes, March Madness comes to an end. College basketball's done.
heartbroken, man.
We're on to, as gamblers, dumb gamblers that I am, trying to gamble on NHL.
But on the positive
playoffs.
side, Zach, NBA playoffs start here very soon.
Yeah,
that's
but
gonna be a
that's
fun
also
thing to
not going to
gamble
be-
With
on.
no LeBron James.
That's all right. He'll be okay.
Speaking of that, we'll get into that more. But Magic Johnson is out as
Because he's soft.
well. He just he can't take it. He just can't
Good at his
stop
job.
himself from tampering. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
you're right. He's not that good at his
He
job.
couldn't. Is
I
LeBron
mean-
going to be player, coach, and president?
Yeah,
Might
he's
as
gonna-
well.
he's gonna
Should he
pretty
be
much
better than Luke Walton?
He's gonna
do pretty
fire
much
Luke
be
Walton.
Everything
Luke
there
Walton.
is
I can't
for the
believe Luke
Lakers.
Walton hasn't gotten fired yet.
I think that's why.
Yeah,
But-
it's kind of all
The thing with
in
the
free
Magic
fall.
thing is, it was like he didn't go tell Jeannie Buss because he didn't want her to convince him to stay. So it was maybe he was borderline. I don't know.
I think he
pretty
was.
much the first time he said it was in that interview.
Yeah,
Or
he
in
was
the press
ready to
conference.
go. I mean, and like
Maybe he wants
said,
to coach.
Oh,
What?
Maybe he wants to coach.
Maybe he wants to.
Maybe he
he's gonna
stepped
do that.
down
He'll
so he can
turn
coach the
around, he'll
Lakers.
Quit as that, and that would be a wild move.
that would
No way. No way he coaches.
wild.
Let's move on to the Cubbies, who are off to a 3-7 start, are playing the Pirates tonight, down 3-0. Yu Darvish is giving up 2 home runs, sadly. Yu Darvish, who is looking for his first win in 325 days.
Ugh.
I saw that as a stat that I just need to throw out there because it made me sick and it kind of.
I didn't hear that.
What?
Just gonna pretend I didn't hear that. It's in one ear out the other.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
All right, scale of 1 to 10. How big of a panic are we in right now?
Not a panic at all. I think after seeing it, it was 10. Let's get into our opening day.
Yeah.
10-0. The Cubs look good. John Lester, he gets pulled, and I think it was the second inning.
Yeah.
With hamstring tightness because we were out in the bleachers, couldn't really tell what was going on. You kind of see Joe Mann was in his face a little bit, and he kind of not shoot him away, but kind of said, "I'm fine."
Yeah.
And then he went to the dugout. One more batter. I think he walked the guy, maybe, or I
I
heard
heard he
his-
walked
his-
2 guys.
His,
Yeah.
his fastball was in the 80s, so they just wanted to get him out of there, which was fine. I don't need him hurting himself early in the season.
Right.
And the bullpen really came
Oh, it looked good.
came in clutch. I think it's been 10 scoreless innings so far for the bullpen, which is unbelievable for the start they had.
Yeah.
It was nice to get some good pitching from I forget the guy. Is it Brad?
Brad Brock.
Brad Brock.
yep.
He's doing well. Bratton and Kinsler's doing well. Pedro Strop, he did well. I liked when we were at the Cubs game. Pedro Strop came in, and you got to get sat to the
Yeah,
side.
everybody in the
side.
bleachers.
Pass
we
to the
were
left.
back to the
Pass
left.
to the left. It was beautiful. The bullpen. It's nice that they're coming together, but like with Darvish tonight, struggling, but it's just 2 home runs.
But at the
And-
same
and-
time, like
it's-
the
I
way
wouldn't
this
say this is
offense
struggling though either. that much.
exactly the way this offense is playing, 3 runs shouldn't be an issue.
No, I mean it's two home runs and a cold night. The first one barely got out.
Yeah.
The second one, I think he just kind of let it hang in there.
Yeah.
But he looks fine. Going with the no sleep, or ballsy.
I like it.
It's
Try
fairly
to send a
freezing
message.
out there. Speaking of that, it was about what would you say about 85?
Yeah, I have a sunburn.
I got sunburn
I got
also,
sunburn.
and now it is got to be probably 35 degrees there tonight. But yeah, the Cubs off to a slow start. John Lester put on the 10-day IL.
Is this just another instance of why we got to get rid of pitchers hitting? He hurt himself running the bases. We haven't. Granted, you can make the argument he had the game-winning hit because his hit at the time gave the Cubs the lead that they never lost. It was a huge hit for him. But at the same time, I don't need John Lester pulling a hamstring, running the damn bases. That is unnecessary.
I think the universal DL needs to come more into play here. And I get it. Pitchers, they like to be able to hit some of them. But I don't need the risk of losing my starting pitcher in the second inning because he slid or he did something like that. I don't need that.
You said universal
DL or DH?
You mean DH?
You said DL.
DL does not exist anymore.
No, because
everybody is DL.
It's in my head.
It's not even
in my head right now. It's in my head.
Everybody's
over
in
here like a school.
If this was a podcast, we'd have to bleep that out.
We talked about this. Who's going to mess it up?
Me and Gameboy made eye contact, and I couldn't help.
These guys are laughing. I think I said everything right. But yes.
But no, that's
DH.
exactly it.
Sorry
We don't need
Didn't
pitchers
say
running the bases. And Zach, I know we can speak to this because we were there. That was the slowest I've ever seen a professional baseball player go second to home.
Yeah.
Holy cow. It felt like it took 35 seconds.
Yes, but he made it. But
I literally felt like I could
without
have
the slide, though.
bought you a beer from the vendor, paid him, got it back, and he still would have been about halfway between third and home. It was so slow.
We got Egoy says that he is 5.5.
No,
that's too high.
It is not.
That's too high.
They looked good the other day. I still trust their offense tonight. Even it's top of the fifth, down 3. This offense can go off at any point. You got to trust this offense. This offense it's going right now, and it's kind of cold right now. Maybe Chicago is going to stay cold for a little while, but I think I'm not too worried about this at all. And with the Lester, I'm happy they're not pushing them. They're going to let them go on the 10-day IL, and hopefully.
Don't you mean DH?
Yes. Good one. Gameboy got me there.
They've only played one home game, though, and they're 7% of the way into the season.
Yeah.
And I know it was a beautiful day, but you could also feel that the Cub fans were just so happy for the Cubs to be back at Wrigley Field and ready to hopefully go on a little bit of a run here.
Yeah.
Hopefully go on a little bit of a run.
Well, and kind of like if you think back to what my dad had even said last week, if you look at it as a football season, we are now done with game 1.
Yes.
Game 1 looked bad, right? So we chalk that up. We move on. Even if the Cubs lose tonight, I'm still not hammering that panic button because of the fact, like we've said, this offense is too good. And we saw how quick the Cubs bullpen, and I know we're only a couple days removed from it. Sunday the bullpen, didn't look bad. And then today Monday, we see the bullpen come in and have to carry the team for, 6 1/3 innings. Those are the kinds of things. You see how quick baseball can turn around. Okay, so it's not like even in football where, a team that starts off the first 3 or 4 games is going to be a bad defensive team the whole year. It's something that can change quickly, and I think that the staff that has been built and, the starting lineup and the bullpen, if you just give it a little time, they'll get some things figured out. You just have to find the right time to gel. And I know it doesn't look great right now, but, it's a long season. I don't think we can stress that enough. We've had a couple people chime in, what's the deal? There's just so many things, and I think that early in the season we kind of forget how far away October and November really are. It's so far.
Game season is unbelievably long if you really think about it. And I guess I get the panic, but also we need to realize that we have enough time to right the ship, and we're going to go on streaks. It's going to keep happening. We're going to go on losing streaks here and there. But Pat Beals, the Dodgers started last year 17-26.
Well,
look at the defending World Series champs right now. They're
3-9,
especially in that division with the Yankees.
Yeah, they're going to have some ground to make up. And the Brewers are playing well. But shout out to Tommy La Stella, the Brewers Slayer. So coming in and what did he hit 2 home runs against the Brewers one night?
Yeah, 2 last night and one night before.
It was last.
I
feel
he's got
I was
3.
never the biggest fan of him, but now I am when he is hitting home runs.
Greatest pinch hitter in MLB history.
I always liked him.
I've always
been
been
a good guy.
Tommy fan.
Talented. You're good for a good at bat every single time he's up there.
Stands up for himself too, right, Zach?
Good for him. But yes, hitting home runs against the Brewers will always get on my good side, because as of right now, we really need the Brewers.
We need.
I understand. Like you said, we have a long time till October, but we don't want to get too far out.
Yeah, exactly. You want to stay afloat, and then you get things together, and you make your run. So it's a long time. Egoy says he's at a 5.5 panic scale. Like that. That's too much. Like you You can't be putting all your eggs in a 10-game basket and it's 162 game season. So just relax, guys. Like I even said, even tonight, you Darvish, 3 runs. That's not terrible. I mean, granted, we don't want him giving up home runs all over the place, but you can overcome. You should be able to overcome a 3-run lead with this offense.
Yes.
Let's be honest with ourselves. You should be able to do that. So, it's a long way to go.
Long way to go.
And we're not Sox fans.
Yes,
so we got that going for us.
On the Sox, they're 3-8, lost 5 straight.
And had about 9 people at their game
They might
on
be
Monday.
playing one of the hottest teams in baseball, surprisingly.
The Rays
right
are
now.
playing out of their
off to a hot
minds.
start. Me and Boomy all said that it seems like the Rays have been in Chicago for like a week.
Yeah, I mean, granted, they were in there Monday, so they must have had an off day.
I guess, but
I guess
seems like
they
they've
had
been here for a while.
But it does seem like that series has lasted forever. And like, as the Sox, they're 3-8, but like Troy, your dad's a Sox fan. You know about the Sox. Like, how worried should Sox fans be? Is there even eggs in that basket to get worried about this year?
I'm not worried yet. I mean, the expectations for this team wasn't, through the roof this year anyway.
Yeah.
It's not that time. They're still working on one of the best minor league
Right.
bring ups right now. A bunch of players, pitchers especially, who are supposed to be coming up through trades, that are still in the minor systems, working their way up. And this isn't the year yet. They still got a year or two, and you got to be excited. It's kind of like the Cubs a couple of years ago when they had a lot of young players.
Yes.
I mean, you got to be excited for where they're at compared to where they were 2-3 years ago where there was no hope.
Now, Zach had brought it up. We were watching the game earlier, and Eloy had his first extra base hit of the season, and it was the 11th game. Is that something to be worried about, do you guys think? I mean, I know it's going to take time. I mean, you don't want to be hitting the panic button 11 games in, but it took him 11 games to get an extra base hit. Is that something to be concerned about as Sox fans?
I mean, well, think about Chris Bryant when he came up. How long was it before he hit his first home run?
Yeah,
it was like 20 games. Like, guys are going to freak out. You got to remember, this guy has a lot of – same with Chris Bryant. There's a lot of potential, but he's also under a lot of pressure.
He's also
he just signed that big contract with the extension. He knows he's going to be there for a long time, but he also knows now people are watching. He's there.
Yep.
He's in the show. It's no more, wait till I'm there. Yeah, now he's there. Time to produce, and now he's once he hits his first home run, I think he's going to take off.
Yeah,
he's simply that kind of guy. Once he gets comfortable, it's game over.
Definitely.
I don't really like the higher numbers in baseball, but the 72 works for him, and the 75 works for Jose Abreu. I feel like the bigger guys can wear them. Like how tall is he? 6'5"?
Yeah, maybe 6'4", 6'5". They're showing it on the Cubs game over here. Zach, was that not one of the coolest things you've ever seen in a live game when Javi threw his bat at the ball?
Pretty much just threw his bat at the ball, and it just went right over the shortstop.
That was so cool.
We couldn't really tell what was going on. The Jumbotron was right behind us, so it's kind of hard to see it. But yes, that was one of the more impressive swings I've ever seen. But something Javi is just always doing.
Hey, rather be lucky than good any day, man.
Yeah, that's very true.
6'4", Eloy.
Eloy?
6'4", 245.
He looks like he's about 6'6", 6'7", though.
That's a unit. Yeah, he plays left field, right? Is it left field or right field?
I think left field.
Right field. Left field. Okay. That's why we got rid of him.
Pat Beal's helping us out with the Sox. He said they have 5 regulars hitting under 200. So far, Lopez has been their best pitcher. Lopez was the best pitcher at the end of last year. Is 0-3 with a 12.15 ERA.
I think Garcia came in here and had a pretty good sereries against his former team.
Yeah,
that DFA'd him for Daniel Pelka, who's off to a very slow start. A little throwing here for baseball. Chris Davis, what does he have?
47, 48 maybe.
Games without.
That's got to be
without
grueling.
At bats without a hit.
Could you imagine? And just to know that everyone is like getting Twitter feeds that like when you're in the batter's box and you just know that like everyone is wanting to see if anyone that follows baseball is wanting to see if you got a hit because you have a historical low or a historical streak in a bad way. I mean, that's got to be just the pressure. And I know they'll say, like, oh, there's no pressure. It's just baseball. But, like, when you get to that and you're setting records on it, like, there's got to be some kind of pressure.
Eloy batting over 280. So, yeah, he's off to a good start. But
you just want to see the power from him. That's his game is power.
And it's going to be a struggle maybe here in the first few games in the cold. We see Javi Baez when he first came to Chicago. It's just hard to get used to the playing in that cold. No one's used to it.
Mm-mm.
Some people it affects differently.
We got a dinger.
Who hit the homer?
Jason
Hayward.
What?
I think a week
Jason
ago we
Hayward.
were just talking about how much we hate
I wanted him off a team a week ago.
Yeah, and now we're like,
He's hit
hey.
4 homers since.
4 home runs this year. He had 8 last year.
Yeah.
Everybody stop. We got to talk about Hayward off a team again.
Yeah, get him off. I'm done with this bump.
Done with
Get him
Hayward.
out.
Yeah.
We're done.
Boy, keep
We're
that
done.
up. Because he always swings hard, but it just
It's just
No,
ugly.
The problem is
It's
he
an
usually
ugly
swings hard
swing.
right at the first baseman.
I like
That's-
Hayward. He's
but
just
now.
He hasn't been worth the money the Cubs paid.
no. It's not even close.
But we got to get over that. As
Yeah,
fans
you're
right
right,
now,
you're
you
right.
kind of get over that and just realize that he's playing well. I mean, he's playing good right now. Just live in the moment. Maybe not worry
Pat
about
Beal
that.
said Pelka's trying to catch the guy from the Orioles. He's like 0 for 25 on the season.
Yeah,
That's tough.
that's tough. And then a guy like the Sox fan wants to see doing well. You don't need to see him struggling. I know you don't need to win every game, but you don't want to see your young guys
Just getting
struggling.
beat up.
Getting beat up. Speaking of that, the Bulls. We'll go into the Bulls real quick.
Dead.
They kind of sat their guys at the end, which I like to see because
Yes.
Lowry and them, especially with Lowry with the, I think it was like
The heart condition.
a heart condition at the end where he couldn't get his heart rate down at one point after a game. So
You have that same problem, don't you?
That's after too many Jaeger bombs.
Oh, okay.
But
So yes.
yeah.
yeah. But send him, Lowry, Otto Porter, Zach LaVine. That I was happy with what they did there because they needed to lose these games.
Yes.
And I guess it really didn't matter. They got the 4th spot pretty much wrapped up. But I have a question for everyone. What do you guys think? Who is going to be on that sideline next year?
Anybody but Jim Boylan.
That's what I'm saying.
I really
What do
hope
you
it's
think
not
is
Jim
going to be
Boylan.
Jim Boylan?
Realistically, though,
Yeah.
it's going to be Jim
Yep,
Boylan.
I agree.
I mean, they pretty much said it.
Unless something insane happens that Garpax finally realize that they are supposed to be running an NBA franchise, they're going to continue to do the same BS that they've been doing for 15 years now. And Jim Boylan's going to be the guy on the sideline. Like it sucks, but that's the reality of it. Now, I think I don't think that there's a realistic chance to get anything in free agency, but what if like Kevin Durant says, I'll come, but I need this guy to be the coach. So maybe Scott Brooks gets fired in Washington and he says, I like playing
I
for
think
Scott.
Kevin Durant
and-
has the same pull as LeBron James.
Right,
If
I
he's gonna
agree.
come to
I
a team.
agree.
If not more at this point,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're going to have him for a longer time.
Right. What's your guys'
whoever Kevin Durant wants as a coach will make it happen.
Right.
I got a question and I'm kind of curious on what you guys think. I've heard reports about Derrick Rose returning
I don't
to
want it.
the
I don't
Bulls.
need it.
I don't need it. The Bulls don't need it at this point because it's not gonna really help them. And
No.
it's that he needs to go to a team like the Warriors or somebody like that who need a backup point guard to help a contending team. This team needs what?
Lakers.
Whatever.
Oh my-
Wherever he wants to go.
No,
Lakers, that's fine.
he can't play with LeBron.
Oh.
He already showed he can't
Is
play
that
with
the
LeBron.
Batman? Is that the Batman thing where he's like, you either live long enough to
Nick brings up a
die
good
a
point.
hero?
Magic
or,
Johnson.
You guys know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
either
about?
die a hero,
I don't
you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the
That
villain.
might-
Nick said
Magic
Magic
Johnson
to the Bulls.
No
Magic
thanks.
to the Bulls. We'll see.
No thanks.
But
Jim
LeBron
Boylan
brings
might be a
Phil
better
back,
coach than
brings
Magic.
a player to the Bulls to the Lakers.
Yeah.
So then LeBron just has to start playing high school teams.
Whatever.
Bring Phil back.
Yourself. Give me
Although-
give me a guy that like knows what he's doing.
Getting back to D Rose though, yeah. Selfishly, I want him to be back with the Bulls because I'm a huge D Rose fan, but I know that there's no place for him here anymore. If he comes to Chicago, all
If
he's going
they're
to be is a
truly trying
backup,
to
and it's
rebuild
just
and they're committed
do
the way
that.
they quote unquote say they are, then unfortunately this isn't the situation.
All
for
past
him.
teammates though said he's been a great teammate. You guys don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
it'd be a good veteran? Let's say they draft John Morant. You don't think he'd be a great
he would,
veteran
but
presence for
the
a
thing about the
young
attention
guard?
behind the attention goes with it. and all the different, like, he's got more pressure if he comes back to Chicago now.
Oh, yeah.
He has to produce. He can't be the guy. You can't bring him in and have him be a backup point guard and play like a backup point guard. He has to play like a starter.
And speaking of D-Rose, his documentary, Pooh, comes out tomorrow. That's going to be a really cool one for Chicago fans to watch. I've heard a lot of people there was a special screening last night, I think, in Chicago.
Yeah.
That a lot of like radio guys got to go to and stuff. They were saying that it's really going to be an emotional one to watch because you got to think back to it. That was when he was going to the MVP run. That was so awesome, and it just went away.
It was a magical time, and it was so short-lived.
It went away, and I feel like I might be crying.
Egoy, if you comment that again, you might get blocked.
What he put?
Tim Floyd? ? We might have to consider banning Egoy from Facebook.
Yeah.
Tim Floyd is the name no one should ever speak in the city of Chicago.
Wasn't Bill Self a rumor for a little bit?
Yeah, I still wouldn't mind that. I'd be okay.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but I saw the rumor.
Think of the John Calipari lifetime contract. How does that work?
It's about the kids, though, right?
Oh yeah, it's not
about
the money.
Kids.
Never about the money. It's about the kids.
My ass.
Coaches can do whatever they want, but players got to sit out a year.
I think it's a load of crap. I mean, it's like a bad marriage. Like Kentucky is like, but they still love each other. You know, like John Calipari is who he is, and Kentucky just enables it.
Yeah,
but like they're the perfect fit for each other.
30 on him.
They're the
he knows
perfect
who he
fit.
is, and he doesn't care.
Yeah,
he does. He does.
And they just, I mean, they have accepted the fact that they bring in one-year guys, and they've made a hell of a lot of money out of it as an athletics program. And John Calipari is one of the best at bringing those kinds of guys in. So it's a perfect fit.
As Bulls fans, our next day we're looking for is May 14th.
Yep.
14th. In Chicago will be the draft lottery.
Maybe they'll get as lucky as the Hawks did in the draft lottery last night.
The Blackhawks, who are ending their season 36, 34, and 12, which is a pretty good record, especially with the run they went on in the middle of it, where when they fired Quenneville, they kind of got struggling, but ended the season in a good way. That's going to. I'm excited for next year, but especially now that we got the third pick, we had an 8.2% chance of getting the top 3 pick. Because I think it was 2015 I saw they changed the odds that made it more – it was like a better chance for some teams to be involved.
It was a little bit more of an actual lottery.
They were projected 12.
Yes.
And when their name was not read at 12, they got very excited. So the last
to bounce up from 12 to 3 is nuts. And that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like the Bulls got a shot.
I'll do whatever you got to do. Tamper, give
frozen
money,
envelope.
Do whatever you got to do. Let's get that number 1 pick.
Gonzo's mentioned to me, do you think it is a conspiracy theory? Well, his conspiracy theory is it rigged if the Bulls get that number 1 pick in Chicago?
Yeah, I don't care.
Really don't care.
Don't care.
I hope
it should be.
It's been rigged. Like that's how the Bulls got with the whole frozen envelope thing with the Knicks and Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, I'm fine.
It's been something that's been alleged to be rigged for the last 35 years, and
keeping the big players in the
big
cities.
I'm okay.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want Zion or Ja Morant to go to Chicago in 100%. A big market and be on ESPN and TNT all the time? Why wouldn't you want that?
The boys, last time the Hawks had the 3 pick,
Phoenix, they
got Jonathan Tate. So hopefully we get a game changer like that again. The Blackhawks season comes
to look forward to, though. That's the thing that I think
especially
is
with that number 3
part.
Pick. That's a game changer right there.
Oh, yeah. And that's a guy you could see next year.
A game changer on the defense.
Absolutely.
Let's hope we go into that.
They need to do some type of with trades or draft something. They need it.
Well,
defense. I mean, honestly,
Don Hoffer did say that it did come out today that Scott Bowman did say they will be active in free agency. I think we all know what part of that team needs to be improved the most because of free agency, and that's the defense. The defense has been the biggest, hole all year for this team. I think that if they could have shored this up maybe one post or off season ago, that we'd be watching playoff hockey this week instead of be wishing from the outside, and maybe who knows, Joe Quenneville wouldn't have to be heading down to Florida to coach. But you obviously that's retrospect. But if you're going to get this team back to the playoffs, the defense has to get changed, and it has to get changed this offseason.
I know, and Bulls, Blackhawks done for the season. They said Blackhawks have excited for next year. Bulls, we'll see what the draft brings us. It may be another year of maybe tanking. Hopefully not. But we still got some young guys. Otto Porter, Lauri Markkanen, and Zach LaVine. It'll be. I guess Otto Porter is young. per se.
He's only 25.
But Lori Markin,
he came out
and
after
all those
1
guys.
year, George.
But we got Blair saying he doesn't want to jump to the gun here, but some Masters talk. Let's get into the Masters.
All
here.
right, let's get into it.
Troy, let's just get into it. What do you want to talk about with the Masters? What do you want to start off with the people here?
Let's just talk about the course first. All right. Probably the most iconic course, probably one of the top 5 most iconic courses in all of golf. When you're thinking about picking a winner or building a DraftKings lineup or doing a couple little side bets with your buddies, course history is a huge factor you have to consider. How these guys play here, it's a course unlike any other. It's actually more kind of like a European course where shots gained around the green is actually a huge thing, scrambling. Little stats. It's little over 7,400 yards, but it actually plays longer with that because the elevation is so up and down. Huge walking. So many miles they put on walking every day. There's 41 bunkers, 6 water hazards.
Can we get these guys a golf cart?
Yeah,
seriously, why are they not allowed to take?
Well, we don't.
That's the reason I'm
high
not
school
a
golf.
professional golfer.
When I did high school and college golf, we still walk too. So
Why?
I don't know.
They have golf carts. They're accessible.
That'd be a good pace of play rule, right?
Exactly.
But bent grass greens, the wild undulation, like I said, this year actually you got 18 players with their first invite ever, which no one has ever won the Masters their first time except for Fuzzy Zeller when he came way back in the day.
Great name too. All-time name.
Well, the biggest thing that let's talk about, like building a DraftKings lineup. You know, gambling is a big thing. DraftKings or FanDuel, you're doing a lineup. You pick. It's just like if you do daily sports for football. You pick 6 players in the golf. They give you a budget. You got to stick under that or whatever. Main thing a person has to focus on if you're doing DraftKings or FanDuel for the Masters is you need to really focus on shots gained tee to green, and I mean shots gained. Hitting your tee shot, shots gained on approach, meaning your iron shots into the green, and shots around the green, which is chipping, like scrambling out of bunkers, up and downs.
Is that something that's like easily accessible to people? Like, is that something that gets published?
For all other tournaments besides the Masters, because there are different websites that you can actually look up these stats specifically for specific tournaments. But when I looked at my stats for the Masters, I look at, their average for the whole tour on every tournament, but actually the Masters, they actually have thermal imaging on their surfaces.
That's nuts.
They have computerized irrigation sensor data to regulate the watering, but they do not release their strokes gains to the public. So that's actually almost impossible to find unless you can watch TV and video on every player, which is pretty much impossible because they don't cover everyone, Right. But it proves in the past that putting isn't everything. It's one of the fastest greens on.
Yeah, I saw a video today where like they rolled a ball up. It looked like 20 feet away from it, and then it just came off.
Yeah, it's one of the fastest greens in a tournament all year long. And but if you look back at past champions, Patrick Reed isn't a great putter, even though he was in the top 3 of strokes gained putting last year. Sergio Garcia is a terrible putter. You got Adam Scott's not a great putter as well. So putting's not always everything. It's more that you need to really focus on those shots gained from tee to green. Shots gained from tee to green, and that's covering 3 aspects. That's covering tee shots. So
how do you gain a shot?
So it's like like let's do putting, for instance, not do tee to green, but putting just for instance. Let's say this person is averaging 25 putts around this, and the average of the field is averaging 28. They gain 3 shots, on the field. So putting again, let's say the average is 28 putts. This person had 33 putts. They're losing 5 shots to the. Okay. These people had 20 approach shots into greens. If they had to hit out of trees and stuff.
Right.
So you really want to focus on off the tee, approach to the green, and then around the green you're scrambling. And if I'm the type of person building a DraftKings or FanDuel lineup, yes, just like in any other sport, if you do basketball, football, any kind of gambling, you like to spend all that dollar amount. They give you $60,000, they give you $50,000, and guys are different. Try to choose all that. And yes, that is a good thing to try to maximize the best players, but a lot of times, if you cash, let's say you do wild and you get first place, you use Zach's word, wild,
Zach's favorite word.
Zach's favorite word.
It is wild.
and you get first place, and you use every dollar of that 60 grand you had, but you get first place, you're going to probably have the exact same lineup as 18 to 25 other guys because everybody used their same dollar amount. My strategy and what I suggest for people to do if they're doing DraftKings or FanDuel, leave about $300 to $1,000 not spent, because that means you have
Will that be the difference between
that means you have a slightly varied, because you're not going to be so pandering with the rest of the crowd, picking those guys that are using every dollar amount.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought you meant real money here. I'm like, what?
No. FanDuel money.
I know. I got it for a second. I'm like,
Zach's like,
I'm putting away $1,000.
You do know I'm a teacher, right? We're talking about this kind of money. No. I'm the DraftKings FanDuel money. You don't want to spend every dollar when you're building those lineups, because
that's interesting. I've never thought of that, to leave a couple dollars, a couple of
and that works with football.
money on the plate.
Works with football, golf, basketball, any kind of gambling that you do, because if you use every dollar amount, let's say, easy math, there's 100 people in a tournament, 80 people might use every single dollar where they have $0 left, and that means a lot of guys might potentially have same lineups, because if you're getting $0 left, there's only a certain amount of combinations you can do where there's $0 left, correct? But if you leave $300 to $1,000 in your account and kind of go off the crowd and do something different, that's where you are more likely to win the big money. Okay. Talking guys, who was asking us about it? Talking guys who
Jordan Spieth, my
he's playing 2 runners up and a top 10, and then Mason said that he is not playing well as of late. So,
Mason.
Yeah.
Mason doesn't play well at the beginning of the year, so.
No. That Jordan is.
Oh, Jordan.
Hey!
Shots fired. Here we go.
Mason never plays good at the beginning of the year. No, Jordan is playing terrible, and his odds, I don't understand. What did you have his odds? I didn't look it up earlier. He's like 18 to 1, and yes, I know Jordan plays well at the Masters, but
I was 1,800.
Yeah. Jordan plays really well
I've
at
got
Augusta,
plus 2,200
at the Masters, but he's not a guy that I would be putting money on. Here's a theory that some bettors might do. You can look at like the top guys. Rory, for instance. Rory has his worst finish this year in all his tournament is 6th place. He's besides, don't count the match play. It's a different type of tournament. Top 5s and everything. He's got to win. The last 4 years, Rory has top 10s at Augusta. I mean, that's when you're in contention there. DJ on the Dustin Johnson, on the other hand, same thing. He has top 4 top 10s this year. 3 consecutive top 10s at the Masters while he played, because he didn't play 2 years ago. He got hurt, injured, fell. I don't know what he actually did.
Well, that was like going up the stairs or something.
Right.
Yeah,
Or down the stairs eventually. But if you're just looking at those top 2 guys that are the best odds, which is Rory and DJ, I'm actually the type of person, if I'm betting an individual golfer to win or even building a DK or FanDuel lineup, I'm actually going to go off the crowd and probably go down to DJ, because a lot of people are either going to go Rory or they're going to be, DJ's that same price. So if I can't afford these 2 guys, I'm going to jump down in a price and get these guys to build my lineup.
Someone they're a little bit more.
Now, DJ is actually the guy I would pick if you're going expensive or betting. He got a little better odds. I think he's 10 to 1, and Rory's like 13 to 2, 6.5 to 1. And DJ, if it gets windy, the weather's bad. They're actually calling for some bad weather on Sunny. You expect DJ to be there during that time, making the cut, hopefully being in contention. He's a guy where his game won't be affected so much by weather. Rory's got, it's only a storyline, and he might say it means nothing, but Rory's actually chasing the career Grand Slam, where that's added pressure. Not many golfers have ever done that in their careers. So, those are the top guys you're looking at to make a bet. But if you're wanting to, Blair, if you want to jump down, maybe bet a guy who's playing really well, I would actually go for Matt Kuchar.
Oh,
Matt Kuchar is a Georgia guy. He's probably playing the best golf of his career right now. He's won twice already this year. He plays well at the Masters. He's a type of guy. And what do you got Kuchar's odds at right now, CeeLo?
Let's see what we got Kuchar at here.
Probably around Matt Kuchar, 30 to 1. Down a couple. Right there at top.
I got plus 4,000.
Oh, yeah. Plus 4,500, yeah.
So 40 to 1 here, 45 to 1. I think those are better odds. He's never won a major, yes. But he's always there.
I didn't realize he was from Georgia. I did not know that.
Well, that's where he played college ball.
Okay.
He loves Georgia. In the PGA, they go on there and they start the year in Hawaii, and then they go California, Florida, and they hit different locations. But he's a Georgia guy. He plays well there. He's my pick to click. If you're jumping off those really top guys, the guys with the best odds, And then let me pull my odds here 2 seconds and have a look at it.
That is interesting. I think that's like one of those things that we were talking about bringing out. It's like given that kind of pick is something. I don't think anybody that's listening would have thought, maybe sprinkle a little money on Matt Kuchar to win. So I guarantee there's a little something. Maybe I'll throw that one in.
And another strategy too. If you're liking to bet a guy to win a tournament, DJ for instance is 10-1. Dustin Johnson, he's 10-1. And let's say you put $100 bet on Dustin Johnson. Well, if you wanted to, you could pick two guys that are like 20-1 and do 50-50. You're betting the same amount of money. You're going to win the same amount of money if one of those guys hit. They're double the odds. You half your money, but you're going to win the same. So you could maybe go down and pick maybe a Francesco Molinari, Brooks Koepka, maybe Tommy Fleetwood, those type of guys.
Yeah,
where
a little bit more value if they do.
Yeah, then you could keep splitting like that, different odds, and it's all about your preference. I mean, someone asked about Justin Spieth. He is not playing.
His name's Jordan Spieth.
Or what did I say, Justin?
Justin Spieth.
Sorry.
Sounds like Zach and the disabled. Careful.
Jordan's
Great.
Spieth.
I love the Masters talk, but Mason is not happy with
Mason is
he said
ready
that
to
he
go.
would rather. He's looking for Pico, the eye candy, but he had to settle for Troy, and very disappointed with that. He said, and he also said he would take you. So maybe we can set up a rough and rowdy between you guys coming off of the.
All right, so we do. I got to ask you this one.
Loves Cooch. Thoughts on Kuchar? I think I may be sprinkling some money on him.
I like
his
that.
win last week, right? He did win last weekend.
Who?
Matt Kuchar?
No, he got second in the match. Second in the match. But, I mean, that's still showing good golf. He made it through the round-robin round, and then you get the round of 16, 8-4, and then the champion. He made it all the way to the end, so he got the most out of it. That was 2 weeks ago because they played Valero last week. Kind of looking at Mason's Ricky. Ricky is due. I love Ricky as another pick. He's one of those top odds guys. He's 16-1. But Ricky is 100% due. I agree with Mason.
How does he fare in the weather, though? I feel like I've never seen Ricky really thrive in bad weather. It's probably just me not watching as much golf as I should. But is that something that might come into play?
And the thing, what I would never count Ricky out if it is bad weather as well, is because he is one of the best putters on the tour. So even if it's tough weather, if he can get around greens and get those shots gained approach or shots gained around the green, scrambling, get them inside 10, 8 feet. He is one of the best putter on tour right now. He is so solid. Egoy chime in and VJ Singh. Yeah, if you're creating a lineup to maybe get in cheap to fill out your FanDuel or DK lineup, maybe he's that sixth guy to throw in. That you got to get someone
just
cheap.
Just make a cut and not do terrible.
Yeah, he can make a cut. But if there's on DK, I know, and on FanDuel, there is a millionaire. The Sunday millionaire for the golf tournament for the major where someone's going to win $1 million. That's the type of thing where you have to probably have the guys who got first, second, and third place.
Yeah.
You just have to. And normally it's been 3 years in a row where the top 8 or 10 guys who had the odds have not been a winner. I mean, Patrick Reed, I can't even remember. At one point he was 150-1. I was reading some stuff that people bet him on. And you get hot, you come out of nowhere, you putt well, you hit, shots gained. Another stat that I hear, which I like to look at when I'm doing our draft with our buddies that we'll talk about in a little bit. And out of every tournament on the PGA, at Augusta National, the Masters is the number one tournament where driving distance, the average of driving distance, plays the biggest factor. So if you hit the ball a long ways, it's a great thing because they don't have rough. Right, it's just one little shallow first cut, then it's pine straw. As long as you're not behind a tree,
yeah.
I mean, it's a longer course, but driving distance does play another great factor in when you're choosing.
Well, let's get into that. Talk about the two things. We do a 6-man draft, and we had actually been talking this morning. Me and Zach had been talking to Trey about doing a draft for something like this. Just explain to the people quickly what another aspect of doing these kinds of draft boards look like.
We got 12 buddies together. It changes 10, 11, 12. It goes back and forth all the time. We all throw in $20. We just do a snake draft, and we draft a team. We draft 6 guys in every major. This year actually added the players in. It's pretty much the fifth major in golf. But we draft 6 guys, take the best 4 scores. That's your final score, and we pay third place gets their money back, second place gets 40, and first place gets
place
everything
takes the
else. Yeah,
rest.
so it's actually a great thing, and it's kind of like when you guys are doing the Super Bowl or you're doing Final Four games or a championship game. You got all those parlay bets and those side bets and all those other things. This, if you're not a huge, you don't watch golf all the time, but you're going to watch the Masters or a major on a Sunday because you got your guy in the fourth round doing well, and you're like,
even when he's not even in contention, you're like, just play well here today.
Make a couple birdies on that back nine, get my score to a combined 30 under, and my team can. I mean, we did the players, and I texted you, and you actually got third place. And
I had stopped watching because I thought my guys were done.
You were like 10 strokes out of it, and my dad was up there, and he got so mad because you had no idea.
Yeah,
he third, and he got fourth again. Yeah.
As random as it is, Nick won last year, he said. So that must be very.
It tells
random.
you it doesn't take much skill.
Yeah, that's
Gonzo did win the players last year. I mean, kind of talking my strategies for that draft. Chance, we were talking earlier. Chance, like, I look at the odds.
I look at the odds sheet.
I look at the odds. I go like
done
this.
Well.
What I was talking about earlier, building DK lineups or betting or anything you're gambling on majors, I looked into a ton of stats for shots gained tee to green, distance off the tee. These are kind of things, how their recent form is on the PGA and on the tour. And I do so much data. I look at so many things. I
guarantee I start looking at that and I start getting last every time. And I've won it once and I've made my money back like 2 or 3 times.
And I'd like to say it works well for me because last year I got 2 firsts and the second. This year I got a second so far. So
I'm going to look at that. Shots gained. But before we move on to a little bit more, tell Zach about your wild thing on Bet365.
Oh, Bet365. It's just another online gambling site, And they do
Zach might be jumping in on this.
They do some great things for the Masters, and I found about this morning. I was actually looking at it about an hour before I came here. They have a thing on Bet365 where you can bet people to either make or not make the cut. Okay. So let's do a little math here for a second.
Oh no!
I know. Stay with me.
I can't
Mendota
do that.
Mendota math. All right.
Try my best.
There's 86 golfers in the Masters this year, right? They say top 50 and ties, or anybody within 10 strokes of the lead is going to make the cut. So out of those 86 golfers, you got past champions, Sandy Lyle, Mark O'Mara. They're not going to make the cut.
I haven't heard that name in 15 years.
They're not going to make the cut. You got a couple amateurs from Asia, Latin America, U.S. amateurs. They're not going to make the cut. There's a handful of other guys who they're not going to make the cut. First time playing it at Augusta. So let's say roughly you got 70 guys out of the 86 who have a chance to actually make the cut at Augusta, okay? And so 50 people plus ties or 10 strokes in front from the lead make the cut. So that's 50 out of 70. Let's say with ties and within 10 shots, let's say 55 people make the cut. 55 out of 70, you're betting 78% of the people are going to make the cut. It's almost like a no-cut event. So if you're betting the U.S. Open, almost only 47, 48% of the golfers make the cut. And this is 78, 80% of the golfers make the cut. So I was looking at Bet365. They have a thing, and you can do a parlay on there where you pick. I know you got to love your parlays, right?
If it makes me some money.
Yeah, you're going to.
Listen to this. You can do different parlays of guys to make the cut. And I just gave your percentages right there. 78% of the golfers, there's 55 golfers that are making the cut out of 70, that can make the cut. I threw together a random 14-team. That's as high as you can go. 14-player parlay. I haven't done it yet. I can put $10 on it, and I'm winning about $2,200.
Oh my
God! And that's why I didn't tell you I wanted to see that reaction. It's a $10 bet, but it's a 14-team. It's a parlay. It's a parlay. You throw 100, you go in 21 grand. You're getting really excited. But that's what I'm saying. It's a parlay, and you know how parlays work. 13 of those 14 golfers could make the cut, and that one guy.
Or one guy falls down the stairs and has to withdraw.
Yeah, but chances are very high.
But I mean, if you're betting $10 to make $2,100. I might do a couple 14s and then a couple like 5 or 6 ones where I'm betting 10 to maybe win 50, something like that.
I'm gonna need you to send me this site.
Yeah,
that is
exactly.
That sounds very. Nuts. I'm very interested.
And like I said, it's like with your draft, it's another way to watch the Masters
and
have some fun with it. It's like a Super Bowl almost. It's just many ways you can have some fun.
Masters Sunday is just perfect. Like I will literally be sitting in that chair.
This would make Friday fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh yeah. With the cut. The cut sweat. Oh man. It'll make Friday intense.
Take your gambling to another way where you're trying to. There's guys who are.
It's like a prolonged.
You're screaming at them. They're barely gonna make it.
How do you miss that putt, idiot?
And that's how. I got to tell you this. I cannot tell you how many times, it was 2 years ago at the Masters, my dad likes to do these drafts with us boys.
Yeah.
And it was 6-man drafts. He had Charlie Hoffman blow up on the last 9 on Sunday, shot like 41 or 2. And then he had John Rahm miss a 3-putt from like 12 feet on the 72nd hole. And he tied for first with you and John. So each got like $60 or $80 or whatever. And he still brings that up. He brought that up to me like a week ago.
Funny.
Because he's like, there's 2 guys. We all tied. I could have won first. I never won first. And yeah, it brings, just like we said in the Super Bowl and stuff, it makes you appreciate that because you got more stuff on it and you're just rooting for these guys. And if you lose, you lose $10. Who cares? You may still. Who's lost bigger bets than that? Right here, exactly.
Exactly.
Zach's putting 2 hands up.
Troy, you have so much, and like where again can people check out your Twitter? Because I'm sure you'll probably go and throw some stuff on there before the weekend.
My Twitter is TB Golfin, so TBGOLFN. Most of the time I'm a retweeter kind of type of guy, but
I think you just for coming on tonight and like giving some of your picks and especially I think the shots gained, right?
Shots gained.
That kind of information, like we got to get you working on Twitter.
Shots gained, tee to green, yeah. I can start doing some stuff for. Oh, I almost forgot, man. We're talking about the Masters.
Oh yeah, what are you doing?
I didn't even put on my wide brim Masters visor.
You talked that up so much beforehand. Forgot.
Oh my
God!
Got so amped to talk about the Masters.
Before we go into our top 3, I need to ask you, for a guy like me who likes to gamble with some guys who have some juice on it. Who would be your a long shot to win it? Dark horse. Who would be a guy like in the plus 10,000s or something like that?
My dark horse, and I think he's in the plus 8,000, 80 to 1 or so like that. My dark horse is Patrick Cantley.
It's plus 6,600.
6,600.
Okay,
those are good numbers.
He's a little worse than what I talk about Kuchar and stuff like that. Patrick Cantley is playing great ball. If I'm looking at further down. Let's look. You're looking at, man.
Keegan Bradley's a 12.
I kind of like Keegan Bradley. I don't think he's going to win.
I got him on my team when we drafted our team. Yeah, Keegan Bradley at 12, 125 to 1.
What's the lowest odds I can get?
Charles Schwartz.
I told you. Hey, Sandy Lyle shot like 5 under. Sorry to who was it? I can't remember who drafted Matt Wallace because he won the par 3 contest today. It is a curse. Matt Wallace will not win the Masters.
Oh, and Don says Jack and Gary at the ceremonial
tee-off
is always a great thing to
always
watch.
Have to watch that.
It's always early in the morning.
I got a quick little story with Jack and Gary. I was telling Chance earlier. I'll bring it on maybe another time when we do another a major. I actually have on one hat. I have Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Gary Player, and Tom Watson.
That's
just those
amazing.
4 on one hat. Probably
that hat
is
going to be worth a boatload of money.
Yeah,
sometime.
just those 4 golfers on one hat, and I'm going to get ticket authenticity and get it all good to go. But one of my favorite memories.
That is pretty cool.
Let's break this up real quick. Let's do our candy review real quick.
Is Tiger got a shot? One last golf.
Oh, yeah.
Is Tiger got a shot? Because we've got some questions out here, and I know Zach had said he's going to bet him.
I'm going to bet him because I want to see it.
I think he has a shot, but I think the bet is a terrible bet. What is he, 14 to 1? What did you have him up as? 14. He's all the way at the top.
Yeah, it's 14 to 1.
14 to 1. I actually think it's a terrible bet, but he has a shot because his form has been playing really well. He beat Rory in the match play.
He's focused a lot on golf. He's not really out there to be friendly right now. He's out there to win, and that's
the old Tiger.
The old Tiger's bag.
My biggest thing is Tiger has had stretches, and recently too. He can string 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 holes together. He plays really well. He'll go 509 holes. But he has yet, and this is why I have my hesitancies, he's yet to string days together, rounds together, a whole tournament from start to finish, Thursday to Sunday together, where he's going to be there at the end. The biggest thing for Tiger, and yes, I talked about shots gained off the tee, or tee to green, so off the tee, like I said, approach, and then around the green. But I actually think the biggest thing with Tiger, if he's putting well.
Yeah.
The Tiger of old, there was probably no one on the tour back in the day where, the tour is a lot deeper now. Where back in the day when Tiger dominated, there was maybe a handful, 5, 10 guys that could win every tournament. Yeah. Now any guy in the field could get hot on a weekend and is good enough golfer to win a tournament. But Tiger, if he putts well and he's making those 8 to 10 footers like he did it in the old days, that's when you got to get excited about Tiger.
And a Sunday at Augusta is not going to phase him at all.
No.
We got a lot of guys saying J.B. Holmes, who is plus 15,000. They say he always plays well at Augusta, but Pigoy says that he's a very slow golfer. So he may, if he's at like the final groups, they may not get off before the sun goes down. And then maybe done before the sun goes down. So JB Holmes is maybe one that I might throw some money on.
Mason likes Tony Finau.
He also liked JB Holmes too. He was one that said that he plays well at Augusta. So it's nice to know guys who, if you play well at a course, maybe you could just get into the final groups and get lucky.
That is a great thing that Mason brought up. I think you said about JB Holmes, and Patrick did too. I can't remember, honestly, right off the top of my head, it's back in when I was looking at stuff. There are 2 tournaments during the PGA Tour that are very similar, the type of grass and greens and distances, everything that compares really well to Augusta National. And if it's normally a good correlation, if they play well at these courses, they play well at the Masters. And JB Holmes, a couple things I've read, he is one of them that has won actually at both these places before in his past career. So he's actually one that you think could be set up to play well.
I'm putting a couple dollars on JB Holmes.
JB Holmes.
All right, I'm getting hungry. Can we get to this?
We can get the candy review.
All right, what do we got today, Jack? Since you
got
ripped the label before you could show the people.
Hershey's Cookie Layer Crunch
Amateur.
caramel in the middle.
Oh,
so
I'm going to tell
there's
everyone.
no way this is going to be bad.
This will be everyone thinking, well, my worst take ever. I hate candy.
Yeah, that's just dumb.
I despise candy. You can have you can have my piece.
You're not even going to eat it?
No, you can have it.
Dummy.
I don't like chocolate. I don't candy, nothing. I trust you guys.
Troy gives a 0 for the candy.
No. I'm not I don't want to throw off. The averages, but
this is amazing.
What was it again? Cookies and 4 different types. You said.
Don't worry about it.
You're not involved in this.
This is amazing. Got a little crunch, a little caramel.
Is it caramel or caramel?
It's caramel.
Caramel.
It's caramel.
I got some chocolate on my face. I go 3.4. Yeah, 3.4. Every time.
Out of
dude.
5?
What was that?
Out of 5, you're saying?
No,
Out of 4.
Out of 4. 3.4 out of 4.
That's a solid 3.6 right there.
Oh no.
I'll go right in the middle.
Oh.
3.5.
3.4.
So our average is 3.5.
That's
so
good.
Pretty good candy bar.
Yeah, that's a
It
very
is.
good game.
Really good.
All right. TCF top 3. We got Troy here talking about golf. Like we said, go follow him on Twitter. He knows more about golf than us 3 combined. So Troy's I'm gonna text you tomorrow. You got to throw some stuff on Twitter.
I'll get on top of it this week.
What time is the first tee off?
It's like 8:30 in the morning, Georgia time, or our time actually. So
yeah.
But coverage doesn't come on
And
until
you can
about 1
always
o'clock.
get live odds too.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
your
I'm just saying for
gambling
people who
sites.
want to get some bets in, you got to get it in before the first tee.
The best thing is because it doesn't actually come on TV till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Go either online, just go to masters.com, or there's a Masters app on your phones, iPads, computers, and they have 2 featured groups. They have Amen Corner, they have 15 and 16. They have different parts of the course where they will do coverage all day long until the live coverage comes on. So that's actually a good place. If you're like me and you got to get that fix all from start to finish, that's where I'm going to be at. The best thing is being a teacher and throwing it up on the screen while you're teaching children and you got 2 eyes over here, but talking
best
over
sport,
here.
man. Best sport.
Let's go into it. Troy, we'll let you. You're the guest here. We'll let you go first. Who's your first pick?
We didn't even explain it yet.
I thought you said it.
I said let's get to it. We never explained it. So we're
yeah.
gonna pick a team. We're gonna pick 3 players each, and we're just letting him know now that Patrick, you're keeping track of this. So make sure you write these down as we're talking. So we're gonna pick 3 golfers. And by the end of the weekend, we'll have a winner.
We'll make Pigoy keep track of them for us. So,
so Pat, make sure you write these down.
You'll be paying attention for
Troy,
us.
you're our guest. We'll do snake draft. You get number 1.
So is our favorite golfer, we think we're going to win, or the team we're assembling? How are we doing this?
Whatever you want.
My crew for the Masters this weekend.
You pick.
Give us your number 1 pick.
Number 1 pick.
Spoiled with a number 1. A lot to pick from, but I said it before. If you're looking at those top 2 guys, and I'm gonna go off the pandering of the crowd, not Rory, even though he's playing probably the best out of everyone. I'm going DJ. They're talking about the weather's not going to be that great on Sunday, and I think if Rory's up there in contention and bad weather, his game doesn't always suit it. A really high ball hitter, and then he's got that pressure of the career Grand Slam. I think he's going to fade on Sunday, where DJ's game fits it a lot more for bad weather. So I'm going to have to go Dustin Johnson.
All right. Do I get number 2?
Sure.
All right. Well, then I'm going to take Rory because he's got the highest odds.
Jump right in there. Can I get number 2?
Yep. And that's what I have on my team, so that's why
You do have Roy on your team. You got him at the players, too.
Yeah.
He probably wins it. That's how you got back.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So who's going third?
Oh, you go.
I'm going. All right. Give me Ricky Fowler.
Everyone's looking at their odds sheet right now. I like that pick.
I'm going Tiger Woods.
We knew what Tiger was doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Tiger.
All right, Zach, you get your
We'll
second
do
round
this.
pick.
We'll do the snake draft.
I'll go Tiger, and I'll go. Kuchar.
Matt Kuchar.
Matt Kuchar.
You're going my pick to click. I said.
Yeah, he jumped on. He was listening. Gamer, your second pick.
Let me think about this. You know what? Screw it. Just give me Phil.
Oh,
Jumping down to a lefty.
I've always loved Phil. I'm a big
He's
Big
ready
Phil
to
guy.
win.
Big Phil
I
guy.
mean, Phil has won it twice at the Masters. Actually, the Masters is, of course, has set up for lefties compared to righties. That's why Bubba's won it twice. Back, Mike Weir, who's done nothing in his golf career, but he's won the Masters. He get to play there his whole life. He got to have probably the most envious dinner of all golf, where the winner of the Masters on Tuesday night gets to choose the dinner, right? And he is a past champion. So Augusta is set up for lefties, and he's jumping straight down to Phil.
All right, my number two. I'm gonna go John Rahm, and it's not. I know Justin Rose is still there, but I like John Rahm. I've watched.
Why do you like John Rahm?
I don't know.
I hate John Rahm.
I don't know.
My biggest thing is he gets so pissy. Where he cusses
I don't know. I
and
kind of
calls
like
his
that.
baby.
That's probably why I like it.
Yeah.
All right, you get your second and your third, Troy.
Well, I'm gonna jump down. Probably one of the best golfers in majors as of late. I'm jumping still way down the odds because we don't want to pick all the way at the top. I gotta go with my boy Brooks Koepka.
That's a good choice.
I
actually like
flagged
that
him
one a lot.
down the last couple years when he won his majors. I had him on my teams when we drafted when I won twice last year. Brooks Koepka, I think, is the guy I'm gonna go with. He's peaking again at the right time. If he can get all assets of his game together this weekend, and I think he's the type of guy, when Brooks is out there, he's not going to be like a Ricky or a Tiger. He's not going to have that huge following that he can feed off of, but he's shown it in the past where even without a crowd, he can just be his own guy and stay concentrated, and even he's shown that he can go against those tough odds and not having the crowd with him.
It's a good choice. I like that. My third and final.
snake
Oh, yeah, I'm
draft.
sorry. You get your third. I'm sorry.
We are all over the place right now.
We're also looking at an hour 5. I can't believe people are still watching us.
Yeah, that's all right. I told you
Thanks,
guys. The
guys.
Masters. I told you guys this. I like the Masters more than I like the Super Bowl, and that's hard to say. That's hard to say as a sports fanatic, but the Masters, I love the Masters.
It's hard to argue with.
I'm gonna see. He already jumped in and took my Kuchar, so man,
That sounded weird.
he took Matt Kuchar. I really want to go with Hideki, but I can't. I'm gonna jump down. Not pander and go all the top odds. I'm gonna have to go with Charlie Hoffman.
Ugh.
I think he's a great bet. He's actually been playing better as of late. We were talking about betting earlier. I think Charlie Hoffman is actually a great bet to be the first round leader, not necessarily win. There are websites and places that you can bet first round leader.
Yeah.
Where we talk about making the cut and missing the cut. I know 2 days ago his odds were 100-1 to be first round leader, and it's dropped all the way down to 50-1 in 2 days.
Wow.
So people, a lot of big money is going to Charlie Hoffman. So I'm gonna go with Charlie Hoffman. I'm gonna drop down the list a little bit.
I'm going to take Golfing Jesus, Tommy Fleetwood.
Tommy Fleetwood.
I don't know what it is. I like
He was
him.
my first round pick in
I
our
like
six-man
Tommy.
draft. He plays well. Well, I talked about one of the biggest things at Augusta is that shots gain approach around the green, so scrambling around the green.
Yeah.
And he is a European golfer. They are. That's what they're known for.
That's true.
So that's not a bad
my
pick.
third. All right, Gamer, what's your third?
I'm gonna go with Sergio.
Is
Oh.
Sergio.
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 I think there is. You might have just picked the most hated golfer in this draft.
Yeah, I
right
can't
now.
stand
mean,
Sergio Garcia.
I thought John Rahm was. Maybe it's a Spaniard.
It might
thing.
be a Spaniard thing.
Maybe it's a Spaniard thing. I mean,
That might be problematic. We might stay away from
the gif with him slamming the club in the bunker.
Sergio.
All right, we need to
my
block this guy.
last one is
Sergio.
Kevin Kisner. I'll go with Kevin Kisner.
All right.
Dark horse, real dark horse.
Real
there. I
dark
like it.
horse. I like it.
Not a long hitter, but he'll be one of.
He's coming in hot.
I told you guys last year why Patrick Reed did so well. He's the top three. The top three in putting last year were Patrick Reed, who won the Masters, Ricky Fowler, who got second, and then Kevin Kisner. He almost lost 8 shots to the field that I told you guys about tee to green, but he gained 8 shots to the field putting. He is one of the best putters on tour with Ricky.
So you're just gassing Zach up is all that's going on.
He's probably going to be throwing a bet out there. Picking him in
now.
his 14-team parlay to make the cut on Bet365.
Yes.
I told you you'd be excited about
We'll
that.
be up all night making little bets. We're going to get rich off that site.
I like it.
But thank you to Troy for coming on
Yeah.
and talking to Masters with us. It's a little longer show, but it was great
Yeah,
talk.
we still got tons of people watching, so thanks for sticking
You can
around.
follow me at ZLilia TCF on Twitter. You can follow the main page at Typical_Chicago, at the Loop_sports. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the Loop Sports, and then where you're watching us right now, Typical Chicago fans.
You can follow me at TCF Gameboy.
Make sure you follow me at TCF or Boomy TCF. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. If you're on Apple, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on Spotify, make sure you follow us there. Send us a screenshot that you do any of those, and one of you guys is going to win a free T-shirt, hopefully by the end of the weekend.
And then you can follow me at TB Golfin. And then one thing real quick, one of those sponsors, SeatGeek, I actually used the Loop Sports.
Yeah, that's right.
I used the Loop Sports promo code. I was lucky to be down in Florida on my spring break as a teacher and got to opening day Houston Astros at Tampa Bay Rays. I got it for $12 after using the promo code. It was a great day, a lot of fun. Love it.
The promo code The Loop Sports in all caps. You get $20 off your first purchase of over $30. So we love a little free $20 from TCF. Also, Monkey Knife Fight. You use the promo code Loop in all caps, and you get they match your deposit up to $100. And 26shirts.com Chicago. Thank you to our sponsors.
Absolutely.
Again, thank you to Troy for coming on.
Love it.
Hopefully we make some money on the Masters here and we come back happy next week with
Absolutely.
some good results. Again, thank you for listening. Today is I almost said March again, April 10th. This is Weekdays with TCF presented by the Loop Sports. We love you all.
Peace.